Hey folks, today we are taking a look at Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Deluxe Class Ripclaw, otherwise known as Circuit. Well, if you read the comic books, that is. This figure is packaged in Beast Mode, so that's where we are going to start today. As you can see, Ripclaw has this giant tail, which has multiple different positions. You can have him snack on something that he has captured and put right in front of his face, or you could just fold it all the way back and there you go. Posability in this mode is rather difficult as I'm sorry, I keep saying she. This is a she, and her intelligence level is 4. Thanks, Hasbro. Anyway, so as you can see, the dragon mode is pretty much just kind of hunkered down, and yeah, there's going to be a Cheetor-esque transformation involved. For the most part, the figure feels good. There's nothing overly wrong with the plastic. All the plastic feels sturdy and strong, except in one spot. And that's the head. This is super flimsy plastic. The top part of the head is just this incredibly soft plastic. And I have no idea why they did this. I guess so you don't poke your eye out, but Predaking is super spiky. But this is just crazy. The jaw itself is movable, but because the fact that the head is rubber, you really kind of actually have a hard time posing the mouth because the rubber wants to just return to wherever it was or wherever it thinks it's comfortable. See, it just kind of pops back to where it wants to be. So you can try to get its mouth all the way open, but it'll just start closing on you. Or you want to close it all the way, and it'll still leave a little bit open. I mean, there is some movement here, but not a whole heck of a lot. Overall, though, I like the look of the dragon head. Kind of reminds me of an Ultraman beast or something. The other gimmick in Beast Mode is the tail. Now, the tail itself looks like it's one big piece, but it actually isn't. If you pull the tail out and uncouple it from this plastic bit, you get this much more flexible, floppity tail. And there is a core of piece of rubber running through these segmented pieces of plastic. Now, I like what they're trying to do here, but I don't think the actual execution is all that great. I would have much rather have segments or, if I think about it, if you have ball joints, they probably screw that up. So this is probably the best option, though I guarantee you this is not going to stand the test of time. The claw at the end of the tail is just, it's more like a capture device. So you open up the claws and they all move together, and then if you push something in the middle, or you push this button in the middle, it'll snap the claws shut. A nice little gimmick, but considering this piece slides right off and becomes a weapon, the weapon idea for this is kind of silly. But I guess if it's a gun, you grab somebody's head, bang, 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 bang. I guess that would work, but I like the gimmick. I think it's an interesting gimmick. Is it perfect? No, but it works. Transformation for Ripclaw is actually more complex than I initially thought it was going to be. There are a little things here and there that make it much more complex. To start off with, we will take the legs and we will straighten them out a bit. And when you straighten them out, you have these sections here that are on the upper thigh. They actually come off, fold down, and then peg in to the legs to hold the legs in one continuous piece as opposed to having a double knee, and also forms the shins. That is a very, very good way to make double-kneed beasts have a single lower leg. Very nice idea. Then reach underneath the arm, or take the arms and actually just fold them all the way up so you can reach under to the belly of the beast and open up the belly. And they are on the same pin that the wings are on. When you do that, you can then fold down the entire torso and stand the figure up. Now, if you're looking for your next monster of the week from Ultraman, you could just leave Ripclaw like this, because that actually looks really cool. I love this look. I wish I had the Real Arts Ultraman or an SH Figuart Ultraman for this guy to fight. Just, I love this idea that you just make this an Ultraman villain. I mean, they've had worse. Actually, it kind of reminds me of a Cybertronian Red King from Ultraman. But actually, we're almost done the transformation here. So for the arms, take the dragon claws and simply fold them up into the forearm, revealing Ripclaw's real arms. So do the same on the other side. Just fold them up. Next, grab the neck, and these gold pieces are the best thing to grab. So grab them and open up the entire neck to reveal the head. Fold them down to form shoulders. And then just take the head and fold it up along the back, like that. And and then just kind of turn the robot mode head up a little bit. And here we have Ripclaw in robot mode. I've got to admit, this is a striking robot mode. It is really nice, and you know, it's funny. This is one of those figures that initially I wasn't impressed with based on the pictures, and Hasbro's treatment of, you know, figures pictures with all the light bloom and lens flare really did this figure a disservice. In person, this is a really good looking figure. The red is a much darker red than I initially thought it was going to be, and the green is a more of an aquamarine than, let's face it, mucus green. Overall, the robot mode is striking, as I said, and it's just really nice to look at, too. Ripclaw's posability is quite good, save for the robot head. The robot head is supposedly on a ball joint, but good luck trying to get it to pose. Arms have a, what do you call this? Ball joint, yes, that's it. Ugh, geez, sorry, tired. Ball joint in the shoulder, hinge joint at the elbow for an almost 90-degree bend, and then a swivel right underneath that. No, very limited torso articulation due to the transformation. Ball joint in the hips, a very, very posable knee joint, and then ball joint in the feet. These hinges for the knees are a little bit on the loose side, but the extra stability provided by the tail more than makes up for it. Now, for the tail, you can unpeg it and actually have more of a floppy tail, but I like to leave the tail pegged in, nice and rigid, and just dragging on the ground. I think that works for this figure much better than having just this random piece of weight pointing off in a different direction. I'd like to talk about Ripclaw's head sculpt, because I have been trying to figure out for the past couple of days what this reminds me of, and it finally hit me the other day. This reminds me a whole lot. I mean, this whole figure reminds me of Annihilus from the Fantastic Four. And now, for all of you who don't know who Annihilus is, it's a very old Marvel villain, primarily of the Fantastic Four, but he's shown up in the Avengers, been an enemy of Iron Man, been an enemy of a lot of folks in the Marvel Universe. And this head sculpt is very reminiscent of that character. In fact, the entire figure is reminiscent of that classic Marvel character. It's very cool and very nice and very foreboding. I mean, that face just looks scary. I mean, ugh. I would not want to meet that in a dark nightmare. Overall, Ripclaw is actually a very nice figure, and you should get this one in your collection. She's a very interesting toy to have, and I really think that this one's going to be in BotCon 2014. Something just tells me that this one is going to show up, and I'd be okay with that. I would also like to see what Hasbro's going to do repaint-wise. The coloring isn't bad. I don't care for the little bits of yellow flake in the I guess you would call this aquamarine or teal maybe, but the figure is cool. and it's a lot cooler than I initially thought it was going to be. I was actually very surprised with this figure, and I'm glad that I picked this one up. Like it says down in the comments, I picked this one up at BBTS, and you can too. It's in stock. You can also pick up all 4 of the latest additions to the Beast Hunters line in a pack that is also in stock as of the recording of this review. So guys, I would really recommend picking this one up. It's a lot of fun. It's very cool. And, you know, it definitely surprised me in a good way.